I heard somewhere that when people come, if they come due to stress, they come to Krishna consciousness. The natural tendency is to renounce this world, but then you can become a little impersonal. You throw the baby out with the bathwater. Not able to distinguish what is positive. Positivism. Like Krishna's form and like that. So how can we overcome this tendency?
Well, basically one of the 4 reasons people come to Krishna is because they're distressed. So, of course, one of the things Krishna does is he removes our distress, and then we're less in distress. And then we can consider Krishna more as he is, rather than just somebody to relieve our distress. So, but the wonderful thing is that there's one verse that describes Sara. Let's see. Sara Akana Sara Kamava Moksha Kamadari to bring about the yoga and Virjeta Pusham. Whether one has material desires, when his desires liberation, whether one has no desires, one should engage in devotional service with one pointed intention. And then one will attain success. Because if one engages in devotional service, if we have material desires, Krishna will fulfill those material desires, but he'll fulfill them in such a way that we'll get past them. And then we'll go on to achieve devotional service. In the same way, if one approaches Krishna for liberation, he'll give them liberation, but he'll also give them shelter to so to speak. So, we encourage the people, whatever motives they have, to completely absorb themselves in the devotional service of the Lord. Because the more one's completely absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, the less one is caught up in this material energy. There's one verse, let's see if I can remember. I can only remember the numbers of the verses, really. It's 3, 35, 25, 23. Describes that the sages, because they're all absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna, they don't actually experience the miseries of material existence, because their consciousness is fixed on Krishna. It's actually on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, this may come in useful later. Yeah, let's see. So, at any rate, as their distress is relieved, they'll be able to appreciate more Krishna. Basically. And Krishna does relieve people's distress. But because if you're too absorbed in distress, you just think of the distress and you can't really focus on anything else. But you become relieved of distress, and then you hear about Krishna. One of the processes of devotional service is we hear about Krishna, and then we become attracted by the powers and features of Krishna. So the main thing is that if we're always hearing about Krishna, we have the opportunity to become attracted by Krishna's qualities. And the hearing is all stressed. Therefore, we have classes every morning and evening so we can hear about Krishna. Like in the evening, we used to have a program of reading Krishna book in the evening. And that's a very good program because we hear all of Krishna's pastimes and we have opportunity to become attracted by Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. You made an interesting point about Shukadeva Goswami having his father, the Supreme Personality of God, incarnate, and still he ran away from him.
Yeah.
And then you were making a point about family or household life is such a, I don't know if you used this exact word, but like a trap. It's so dangerous, this household life, to become attached. So he wanted to leave that situation. Do I understand you correctly? You're saying making that point?
Because there's a tendency to get involved to treat people in mundane ways in household life. Even if we're all devotees in household life, there's a tendency not to treat each other as devotees, but as somebody who has a certain relationship with me for my sense gratification. So, and then we lose the spiritual vision, basically. So these highly elevated people, they're so much attached to their spiritual vision, they don't want to be in any situation that might cause them to lose it at all. Yeah.
Just following off that, because we, at least during the 40th anniversary, we're hearing a lot about creating a family atmosphere. You know, and creating a family atmosphere in the temple. And there's a lot of speak about it now. And in this country, everything said that when Prabhupada was around, it was a very good family atmosphere. So, what's the difference between? What are the benefits of that atmosphere, and what are the pros and cons of that atmosphere that we can watch it from?
Well, I guess, well, in the material world, in the family atmosphere, everything is centered around me and my pleasure, and the pleasure of people associated with me. So it's really a question of what the center is. You know, if you can keep Krishna in the center, then you can have a family atmosphere that's beneficial. So, and that it is possible. Theoretically, it's possible. So we just have to make it practically possible. So, like, for example, like it's good to have friends that are devotees, right? So when devotee friends get together, they can do different things. They can they can talk about the anarthas they have in common, or they can talk about the devotional service they have in common. Right? They talk about their narthas that they have in common. They can become more attached to their narthas, you know. Or if they talk about their devotional service, they can become more enlivened in devotional service. Because as we're becoming devotees, we have these two sides. We have some of our material contamination, we have some of our spiritual aspirations side by side. So we have to be responsible when we associate with devotees that we don't strengthen our material contamination. You know? Because if we're not sincere, we could just find the devotees who like the same kind of Maya we do, you know? Hang out. If we like to speak through Mangalarti, we just hang out with the other people who speak through Mangalarti, and we criticize the people who go to Mangalarti for being fanatics, you know. You know, and then we accrue some Vaishnava aparad, and we make them less enthusiastic about sadhana, you know. So we have a choice, you know, and that's it. And also, like, marital relationships could be like that. You could do spiritual things together when you have free time, you know, or you could do, you know, more material things. It's all a question of the commitment of the people involved in the relationship and their desire for spiritual advancement. So that there's nothing wrong in the family atmosphere when Krishna's in the center, but because we're in the material world, we have to consciously, although Krishna, we don't really have to put Krishna in the center. We have to realize Krishna's already in the center. But still, because we're habituated to putting ourselves in the center, we also have to be aware that that's a natural tendency, and make sure that it doesn't get too much like that. You know?